In a world boasting more than 200 countries, there exists one tiny, extraordinary nation that stands apart from the rest. Unlike the large populations of countries, like China, and absent from the conflicts often associated with many nations, this particular country is distinctive for a unique reason. The most surprising aspect, it comprises only 2 residents, encompassing its entire population. Yes, it might seem unbelievable, but this nation is indeed home to just 2 individuals. Let's uncover the enchantment and exceptional nature of the world's smallest country. This nation, known as Sealand, is exclusively owned by 2 people. Picture a country with a population of merely 2. Despite its minuscule size, these 2 individuals have established their own constitution, designed a flag, and even introduced a currency. Situated merely 6 miles off the coast of Great Britain, Sealand may seem like an impossibility when it comes to forming a country, yet it exists. It is, in fact, the smallest micronation globally, demonstrating that the size of a country does not solely define its essence. Meet Paddy Roy Bates, born in Ealing, London in 1921. Self-styled as Prince Roy of Sealand, he is a former major from England who fought in the Second World War, rising to the rank of major. He was injured several times. Paddy survived numerous attacks and even a plane crash. After the war, he retired and settled back in England. But Paddy had a unique passion. He loved singing and listening to songs. In 1965, radio stations only played music at night, leaving Paddy's daytime hours devoid of his beloved tunes. He then moved into broadcasting via a pirate radio. In 1965, he ousted the pirate station Radio City staff who had occupied Knockjohn Fort, a Monsell sea fort. From Knockjohn Fort, he ran Radio Essex from 1965 to 1966 and succeeded in becoming the first pirate radio station to provide 24-hour entertainment. The station changed its name in October 1966 to Britain's Better Music Station, BBMs, after Bates had been convicted of violating Section 1 of the Wireless Telegraphy Act 1949. Bates was then fined Soane 100 for his continued illegal broadcasting. Due to insufficient funds, ABMs went off the air on Christmas Day in 1966. Fast forward to today and all-day music stations are the norm. Thanks to Major Paddy's innovative idea, his impact on the broadcasting industry is undeniable. Amidst the waves of the British Sea, a tale of defiance unfolds. Major Paddy, a rebel with a cause, defies authority. Despite warnings, Paddy refused to shut down his radio station. "I won't back down," he insisted. The British government and BBMs took notice. They demanded he cease operations. Yet, Major Paddy stood firm. His radio, a beacon in the sea, continued to broadcast. His story is a testament to his determination. A symbol of resistance, Major Paddy's radio echoes in the annals of history. Great Britain's coastline is dotted with abandoned sea forts. These relics of the past were once crucial for defense. Built during the Second World War, these forts were designed to shoot down enemy planes. They were strategically placed outside cities and even the country's borders. After the war ended in 1948, these sea forts lost their purpose. Many were left in ruins, deemed useless by Britain. One such sea fort was Rapp's. It featured 2 pillars on the sea with a large area above, about 0.1 meters, enough to land a plane. Today, these abandoned sea forts stand as silent witnesses to a bygone era, their stories etched in their weathered structures. Meet Paddy, a major in the British Army, always on edge, expecting war. The cabaret was empty, the radio silent. One day, in a sour mood, he found himself by the sea, embarking on a boat journey. His destination, a fort-like structure, standing on 2 pillars. He climbed, inspected. Everything seemed fine. Returning from his expedition, a spark ignited in Paddy's mind. An idea was born from an unexpected discovery. So in 1965, Bates and a crew boarded one in the international waters of the North Sea and began Radio Essex, a pirate station, to broadcast 24 hours a day the music the Beatles, the Kinks, and Rolling Stones that the BBC doled out only in discrete hours. He declared the 120-foot-long steel platform the nation of Sealand, and when the British Navy sent a boat close by, Bates's son, Michael, fired warning shots. Father and son were brought to court, but a judge who referred to this swashbuckling incident ruled that since Sealand lay 7 nautical miles outside British waters, British courts had no jurisdiction. The Bates took that as recognition. They called Sealand a principality, which entailed less paperwork than a kingdom, created a national flag, stamps, passports, currency with Jones' arresting profile, and a motto Imare Libertas, or from the sea, freedom. The Bates moved aboard Sealand, probably the rustiest, creaky, tiny, and precarious country in the world. Bates had ambitions to make his platform principality a tax-free, rule-free international banking center. A buccaneer of a German businessman once captured the platform while Sealand's royal family was buying groceries on shore. But Bates hired a helicopter, came down a rope, and took back his dominion at gunpoint. On September 2nd, 1967, Mr. Paddy Roy took his family to a fort. He declared, "From today, this fort is yours. This is your birthday gift," said to Joan. Joan was overjoyed. The fort wasn't just a gift. It was a place for picnics, a place to live. And so the smallest country in the world was born from a birthday gift. A fort, a home, a country. Major Paddy, a man with a unique vision, turned a weekend picnic spot into something extraordinary. One day, his wife jokingly suggested they were like an island. This sparked an idea in Major Paddy's mind. Why not make it their own country? The idea seemed absurd, yet intriguing. On his birthday, Major Paddy made a bold move. He gifted this island to his wife, marking the birth of their micro-country. From a simple picnic spot to a micro-country, Paddy Roy Bates promised his wife a country of their own, and he named it Sealand. He declared their flag, constitution, and currency. They designed a flag and hoisted it on Sea Fort. His wife, Joan, was honored on their currency. A new constitution was drafted, spanning 7 pages. It was a symbol of their independence and sovereignty. They had 27 friends who knew about this unique place. Invited for a picnic, these friends became the first visitors to Sealand. To make it a proper country, they built 10 rooms. And of course, they needed electricity. So they made it happen. Major Paddy didn't just create a radio station, but a nation. Sealand, a beacon of freedom and music, was born. His passion inspired many, paving the way for future radio stations. His son, Michael, stood as the future, the prince of this unique land. Major Paddy's legacy lives on, echoing through the airwaves, inspiring generations to come. Celebrate Major Paddy and the lasting impact of Radio Essex. Major Paddy had a secret. His friends were curious about how he knew so much about this country. They asked, "You were here in the beginning, but how did you come to know this place so well?" His wife added, "If there are trees and plants and we get the necessary things, we can make it a country." Then Major Paddy revealed his secret. He told a story about his past. He said, once, during the British rule, a decision was made. The seaports built in the Second World War for planes to take off and land were all destroyed. They were no longer needed. The war was over. Originally, the British Navy planned to demolish these forts. They didn't want them standing idle. One fort, known as Rapp's Tower, was even transformed into a country. But the Navy had plans to blow it up too. Major Paddy and his son Michael saw the Navy approaching. They feared an attack was imminent. In response, they fired warning shots. They declared, "Don't come here. This is our area." Firing at the British Navy is a serious crime. but their actions saved these historical structures from destruction. An intense situation unfolds as bombs are about to be dropped, but something feels off. The Navy halts their attack, opting for dialogue instead. They approach, initiating a conversation. However, Michael, having previously shot at the Navy, is deemed guilty, where he got arrested and taken to court. The British Navy and government initially dismiss this as a minor issue. They anticipate a swift punishment. But as the case begins, they're thrown off balance, where Michael presents a compelling argument. Michael asserts, "I had to defend my country in self-defense." This unexpected defense leaves the British authorities stunned, and the court threw out the case, claiming that the British court did not have jurisdiction over international affairs as roughs. Tower lay beyond the territorial waters of Britain. A constitution was passed, a successor elected. They even issued passports. The next step, the United Nations. They were shocked, a new country they didn't know about. But the reality, only a handful of people lived there. No land, no territory, just a dream born from a weekend picnic. Paddy, a man with a vision, declared himself the prime minister of this micronation. He adorned it with flags, making it his own. The United Nations didn't recognize it. Britain dismissed it as a joke, but Paddy was undeterred, comfortably residing in his self-proclaimed country. In a surprising turn, Paddy received an invitation from a famous person in Austria. He and his wife traveled there only to find they'd been deceived. No one came to meet them. Now he was the prime minister of the country Sealand. His journey is one of resilience, vision, and determination. Major Paddy's story begins with a treacherous journey to Australia. Against all odds, he returned to his homeland with friends. Upon their return, they faced an attack from Germans, even capturing Prince Michael, son of Paddy Roy. But Major Paddy didn't back down. A fierce fight ensued. In the end, they overcame their adversaries, liberating Sealand. The man behind the attack declared himself the prime minister, staging a coup. But Major Paddy was not deterred. He had a vision for Sealand, a vision he continues to fight for today. Major Paddy left his old soldier friends behind. He took control, becoming a pawn to the self-declared prime minister. Many refugees fled. The story wasn't fully revealed to the German embassy in Britain. A demand was made. "Give 30 lakes or £3 million to retrieve him," was the message. The British ambassador at Coogee Beach was informed. The man was under the command of the Prime Minister of Ceylon. The German ambassador in Britain had a mission. He needed to reach Major Paddy, stationed at the sea line. After a long journey, he finally made contact. The ambassador and Major Paddy had a discussion. The details remain unclear, but the German citizen was allowed to leave. Major Paddy saw this as a sign of credibility for his country. Major Paddy believed that the German ambassador's visit was a sign of recognition from the British government. He even hoped for recognition from the UN, but it never came. Britain also never officially recognized them. Despite the lack of official recognition, Major Paddy country continued. They even formed a football team, Sealand Soccer. FIFA didn't recognize them, but they still proudly represented their country. Michael, heir to a throne, finds himself in a unique predicament. He's defending his sovereignty against a global powerhouse, Britain. Michael's family declared a previously unclaimed Sealand as their own. They lived, thrived, and even formed a soccer team there. But Britain saw this as an overstep. Michael stands firm on his territory's border. He's ready to defend his land, even if it means going against Britain. In a bold move, Michael warns Britain of retaliation should they attack. A David versus Goliath scenario that raises questions about the limits of self-defense. What can one man do against a nation? Can self-defense justify an attack on a global power? This is Michael's defense. The truth is out there, and it's compelling. A strange situation unfolded with Britain. They thought they could solve a problem by extending their sea border from 6 to 22 miles. This move made the sea-level British land. But Michael disagreed. He claimed, "Whatever you do, it is ours." Britain didn't yield, and no other country did either. Now, in 2023, the British stand 6 miles away from the sea border. Despite the controversy, Michael's parents passed away. Following the Constitution, Michael was declared a prince. A free country stands on 2 pillars, a testament to this unique conflict. He set up 2 guards to protect his own country. These guards aren't just employees, they're the only 2 citizens of this country. They live there permanently, while Michael visits occasionally. This country is called Sealand. Despite its small size and population, it remains unchallenged. It even has its own football team. Sealand has its own constitution. Visitors are awarded according to its rules, not those of England. So Michael's case shows us a fascinating example of jurisdiction and punishment. It's a reminder that the world is full of unique and unexpected places. Today, Sealand stands as a self-declared nation, a testament to the indomitable spirit of its founder.